The Giants have gone through 2 padded practices at training camp. We've started to do some inside run drills. We got a lot to talk about as you're watching Giants Now by Chat Sports, and I am your host, Marshall Green. Usually when a position group is doing good, that means the other position group is doing bad. And the Giants' run game on offense, it looks damn good. And on the other side of the ball, the run defense, not so much. And as we know, the Giants, they could not stop the run at all last year. And if they can't stop the run this year, it doesn't matter if they have Abdul Carter, Kayvon Thibodeaux, and Brian Burns. Because if you can't stop the run, you're not going to have a chance to rush the passer. Dan Duggan saying this: the Giants' run game has looked strong the first 2 days in pads. Sean O'Hara, a Giants legend, saying the run game has looked particularly well and efficient when speaking on the first 2 days of padded practice at training camp. And we heard Brian Dable talk to Kay Adams saying that he is looking forward to watching the Giants run game because he wanted to see how this offensive line was going to fare in pads against the Giants D-line. He also talked about he wanted to see where the Giants defense stacked up against the run, and he said it without saying it because they could not stop a nosebleed last year. We've seen Tyrone Tracy, Cam Scatterbo, and Devin Motor Singletary all over the last 2 days rip off long chunk runs. We saw Cam Scatterbo do it on Monday. Didn't practice all that much in team settings on Tuesday, trying to just manage that workload. You got a lot of Tyrone Tracy and a lot of Motor Singletary today, and a lot of plus runs for this offense. And you know what? I want to give a round of applause to the Giants offensive line. They deserve it. You can't have a good run game if you are not moving people. And the Giants O-line, they are moving people. And I want to give a shout out to James Hudson, the left tackle that's playing right now instead of Andrew Thomas due to his injury. I've been really impressed with him. He plays with a nastiness, a physicality. He's not scared of everybody. And I think it speaks volumes when Brian Burns, Abdul Carter, and Kayvon Thibodeaux don't really like you. That means you're doing something well as an offensive lineman. We've also seen John Runyon look good in spots. John Michael Schmitz out in space has made some good blocks. Jermaine Illuminor is doing Illuminor things, and Greg Van Roten is picking up where he left off. But it is noticeable that when Evan Neal is out there at left guard or right guard, he is moving people. And when you are 6'7", 340 pounds, that's what you got to do. And when you move him inside to guard, you're allowing him to play a little bit more in a phone booth. And we've seen him at times get lost and find himself in trouble when he's on that island working against a speed rusher and he gets out over his toes and his balance becomes a question mark. But when he latches on, when he's able to get inside someone's pads, he can absolutely just move people. He can determine where that other player is going. That's why he went number 7 overall. That's why he was an All-American at Alabama and why he was looked at as the best player in that class. He is a really good run blocker, and he has showed that so far through 2 days. But on the flip side, I don't really love that the Giants O-line, who, look, I think is much better than the general public, but still no Andrew Thomas, when that group is dominating the Giants front in the run game, I don't really think that's a good thing. And it's easy to, I think, overreact to bad instead of good. Like, we should be celebrating how good this run game is looking and how they're able to punch the defense in the mouth and they're able to move the chains. And you're seeing big runs from Scatterbo, Tracy, and Motor. But it's a lot easier and just more normal to overreact to the bad. And the bad is the Giants' run defense has not looked good. Dan Duggan saying this: the Giants' run D, it's looked bad. Based on how the run D looked last season, it's easier to get concerned with that than be excited about the offense and their ability to run the ball. And I agree, not great. There were multiple games last year where the New York Giants just could not get off the field because other teams just kept running it and running it and running it right at them and running it down their throat. If you can't stop the run, it doesn't matter. And look, I get it. Your best player on the team didn't really participate on Monday in team settings a little bit, and Tuesday he did not. So, yeah, the defensive line and the run game is going to look different when Dexter Lawrence is out there, but it can't just be Dex. Like, it can't just be him. He's close. but he's not Superman. He's not going to fix all of the problems for the Giants' run defense. And he'll fix some, but someone else has to step up. Bobby Skinner on the Giants Nation show. Shout out to Bobby. Shout out to Giants Nation. They're crushing it. He said this, boots on the ground at training camp. The run defense has been terrible. When Dex isn't participating, the defensive tackle group just gets worked, starting with Roy Robertson-Harris. And if you've been watching this show for a while, dating back to free agency, when the Giants went out and signed Roy Robertson-Harris, I didn't really like the move, especially when I saw that they paid him $9 million over 2 years. We'll talk more about him. And then the Giants Nation show, hosted by the great Bobby Skinner, saying the run defense has been atrocious without Dexter Lawrence. And as much as I want to believe the Giants are going to be a top running team in the NFL, I don't necessarily believe that. And I don't like that they are just absolutely gashing the Giants' run defense. Like, to go back to Roy Robertson-Harris, Joe Schoen kind of stinks at evaluating defensive tackles. 2 years, $9 million for Roy Robertson-Harris. Unless he proves me wrong, I don't think he's that good of a player. He gave a solid deal to Raheem Nunez-Roches as well. He hasn't been very good either. He drafted Jordan Riley. He drafted DJ Davidson. Like, he hasn't hit on a defensive tackle since being here. The best defensive tackle he added was Robinson from the Rams, who then went to the Lions, and he was here for 1 year, and that's it. Like, hopefully the end of the misses at the defensive tackle spot comes, and Darius Alexander is going to be a player. Like, that's really all you got right now. And you're a Dexter Lawrence injury away from being the worst defensive tackle group in the National Football League. And that's never a good thing. Hopefully, Alexander, the rookie, 65th overall pick, can be that guy. At 25 years old, he's supposed to be a plug-and-play type of player. But from everybody that's at Giants training camp, you haven't really got all that much of Alexander. He's looked good in some situations, in some moments, but there really hasn't been anything that he's put on the field that makes anyone feel good about where this Giants run defense can and potentially will be. So they got to do something to improve that room. We'll talk about how they potentially can coming up in a second. But if you're trying to improve your Giants wardrobe with this Giants Nike t-shirt, go to this link, chatsports.com/Giants sale. Was $40. Now it's $20. 50% off. The deal will probably end by the end of the week. So take advantage of it. Chatsports.com/Giants sale. The waiver wire. I can't believe we're already talking about the effing waiver wire, and preseason hasn't even happened. But we've seen Joe Schoen attack that over the span and his tenure of being the general manager for this team. Maybe you can find someone there that can help you shore up this run defense. And, I'm not against making a trade for a defensive tackle. Thing is, good teams don't let good defensive tackles go. Because if you have a lot of good defensive tackles, you're probably going to be a good team. It's a hard position to find. And it was a loaded draft class this year. I would have been okay with the Giants doubling down and taking 2 defensive tackles. I love the pick of Alexander. I was championing that pick, and I was rooting for him to be the pick. So if he's not that good, you know what? I'll take that one. But I expect him to be a player. And I don't know how much he'll be able to affect his rookie year, but you need someone besides just Dexter Lawrence to be able to make impact plays in the run game. Because even when it is Dexter Lawrence, we've seen this team get ripped on the run before. Teams are going to look to run the football against the Giants. You look at this football team, and you look at it from the outside in, an opposing team. How do you attack the Giants? Well, you don't want to find yourselves in obvious passing downs. So how do you avoid that? You run the ball on first down. You run the ball on second down. The last thing any team wants to be in against the Giants is 3rd and long. Because then you're playing into the strength of this football team. That's when a Dexter Lawrence and an Abdul Carter and a Brian Burns and a Kayvon Thibodeau and a Chauncey Golston can pin their ears back and get after the quarterback. But if it's 3rd and 3, I can't have all 5 of those guys on the field. It's 2nd and 4. It's not an obvious passing down. The way to beat this Giants team is to stay in downs where you could run or pass. And if you can't stop the run, it doesn't matter who's pinning their ears back on third down. And I've done my job of hyping up this defense because I do believe it. I don't just say shit to say it. Like, I do believe this defensive line can be one of the best, if not the best, pass rushers in the NFL. But you have to find a way to stop the run. And it starts with your defensive tackle group. Can it be Roy Robertson-Harris, who has not looked good so far in training camp? Can Ledbetter be that guy? Haven't really seen much or heard much of him. DJ Davidson for the third time already in training camp. He's been nicked up at practice. Elijah Chapman is just not built to be a run stopper. He is a pass rusher. Jordan Riley is easy to move, and we've seen that on tape, and I like him. Like, there is a need for another player at this spot. Like, I trust Brian Burns set the edge. I trust Abdul Carter to be able to stop the run. I worry about Kayvon Thibodeau setting the edge. Chauncey Golston can do it. But if you don't have anyone next to Dexter Lawrence that's going to be able to do it, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. Hopefully they can find somebody. Like, a lot of people tell me, Marshall, what about Christian Wilkins? Well, Wilkins is hurt. And he's also doing weird stuff in the locker room. And, like, I don't think he's on the Giants' radar. He's also supposedly not going to be ready early on in the season. If he's healthy and he could play and he doesn't do the whole kissing his teammates thing on the forehead, then sure. I'd love for him and Sexy Dexy to be in the middle. They're great friends dating back to their Clemson days. But I just don't think that that's what's going to happen. And I hope I'm wrong. Because, yeah, Wilkins to this defensive tackle group next to Orange would be awesome. But, man, if there's a trade out there, if there's a waiver wire pickup to make, you got to improve this room. Because I just don't think the people in it are going to give you the answers you want. I hope I'm wrong. I'm praying I'm wrong. Because I want this Giants defense to be good. And they got to be able to stop the run at least at an average level. Or there's not going to be a lot of times for 51, 5, and 0, and 97 to do what they do best, which is rush the quarterback. What's your confidence level in the Giants' run defense? I worry about it. I really do. I was looking up some stats from last year, and I like when you look up the amount of games that the Giants just got gashed on the ground, it's actually insane. You gave up 269 yards to the Eagles on the ground, 215 to the Commanders, 188 to the Panthers, 170 to the Ravens, 167 to the Steelers, 157 to the Bucks, 149 to the Commanders, and 127 to the Falcons, 126 to the Colts, and 122 to the Cowboys, 121 to the Bengals. Like, you gave up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 games of more than 100 yards. The yards per game allowed isn't that bad, but that kind of gets diluted because you played the Philadelphia Eagles in Week 18 and they only had 51 rushing yards. Starters didn't play. The Browns ran for 69. The Cowboys ran for 80. The Saints ran for 92. So they have done it before, but shoot. 3 games of more than 187 yards allowed on the ground. Factor in another $170 from the Ravens, a $167 from the Steelers, another 157 from the Bucks. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games of allowing more than 150 yards on the ground. You're not allowing your team to play at their strength, which is in obvious passing downs. I'm at a 5. I don't have a lot of confidence. I have some belief, but I'm also a diehard Giants fan. Give me something to believe in. Get somebody else in this room. I don't know who it is. I don't know what it's going to be. Hey, if they do make a move, you'll find it on my Twitter, @MarshallGreen_.